Students, this video is about general characters of pteridophytes. So let's first of all know how we can define pteridophytes. Students, name pteridophyte is made up of two words, that is pteron and phyta. Pteron is a Greek word and it means feather-like, while phyta means plants. So pteridophytes means plants with feather-like fronds or ferns. It was originally given to those groups of plants which have well-developed pinnate or frond-like leaves. This group include a group of primitive land plants with well-developed vascular system. On that basis, group has been referred as vascular cryptogams. It is classified by Carl Linnaeus in 1754 under the class Cryptogamia. Cryptogamia is again made up of Greek word kryptos, that means hidden, and gamos, which means weeded. So it means the plants without visible sex organs. Therefore, these plants are also known by many names as vascular cryptogams, snakes of plant kingdom, as well as reptiles of the plant kingdom. We can define pteridophytes simply as an assemblage of flowerless, seedless, spore-bearing vascular plants that have successfully invaded the land. Students, one of the important characters of pteridophytes is that the sporophyte and gametophyte are independent. Sporophyte is dominant, long-lived, whereas the gametophyte is reduced and short-lived. The main independent plant body is sporophyte. It develops from the diploid zygote and differentiated into true roots, stems and leaves. Gametophyte is small, short-lived and is produced from the haploid spores known as prothallus. Sporophyte of the plant may be homosporous, which has all the spores similar, or heterospore, having two different types of spores, that is microspores and megaspores. Prothallus, that is gametophyte, are monoecious or dioecious, means bearing sex organs on the same plant body or in the different plant body. Sex organs are antheridia and archegonia, and they are sessile. Students, pteridophytes are represented by about 400 living and fossil genera and some 10,500 species. Paleobotanical studies reveals that these plants were dominant on the earth during the Devonian period, and they were originated about 400 million years ago in the Silurian period of the Paleozoic era. Students, these historical eras are very important and are usually asked in competitive exams. Students, in the image you can see plant body of Equisetum, that is a very common pteridophyte of Himachal Pradesh. Next is occurrence of the pteridophytes. Majority of the living pteridophytes are terrestrial and prefer to grow in cool, moist, shady places. For example, ferns. And very common example of ferns is Diplasium esculentum, that is locally called as lingard. Some members are aquatic, and example are Marsilia and Azolla. You can see in these images Marsilia and Azolla, they are aquatic in nature. Sledgenella are generally terrestrial, and a few species of Sledgenella show resurrection habit. For example, Sledgenella lepidophylla and Sledgenella pilifera. And resurrection habit means Sledgenella species have power to regenerate when they seem dead. Dead plant body of the Sledgenella is usually sold in the market, and when Sledgenella are dipped in water, they become fresh or live. So many species of Sledgenella show resurrection habit. Students, majority of the pteridophytes are herbaceous, but few are perennial and tree-like. And example is Angiopteris. You can see here image of Angiopteris, that is perennial and look like tree. Students, smallest pteridophyte is Azolla, that is an aquatic fern. You can see here in the image that Azolla is the smallest pteridophyte and largest is the Scythia. And here is the image of Scythia australis, that is largest fern. Students, ecosystem is usually present in wet soil, that is along the river bank and seashore. And you may find plants of ecosystem growing around your surrounding. Pteridophytes may be epiphytic in nature, and example are Polypodium aerium as well as Lycodium scarosum. Students, you can see here image of Lycopodium scarosum, that is epiphytic in nature. And here you can see Polypodium aerium, again it is epiphytic. Student, this is the image of Diplasium esculentum, that is lingard, and you all are very well known about this plant. Next is sporophyte. Students, as I told you earlier that main plant body of pteridophyte is sporophytic in nature and it is differentiated into true root, stem and leaves. Roots are adventitious in nature with monopodial or dichotomous branching. You know very well dichotomous means when branches are split into two. Internally, usually they are dioic. Some primitive members lack true roots and well-developed leaves. For example, in Xylophytales and Xylotales. Primary root is short-lived and it is replaced by adventitious roots. Plant exhibit dorsiventral or radial symmetry. Student, stem is usually branched and branching is monopodial or dichotomous, again as in roots. Branches do not arise in the axil of the leaves. In many pteridophytes, stem is represented by the rhizome. Rhizome is usually the underground stem. The stem wears leaves which may be small or microphyllous type in which the leaves are quite small in relation to stem. And example is ecosystem, or they may be megaphyllous type in which the leaves are large in relation to stem. Stem and roots have permanent growing apex. Most of the pteridophytes are with herbaceous stem, and leaves in the pteridophytes may be scaly as in ecosystem. You can see in this image that blackish scale leaf is shown by arrow. It is sessile in Lycopodium or Selaginella. You may find here sessile leaf of Lycopodium. It is large, petiolate or compound in some ferns. For example, in Adiantum and Triopteris. Students, you can see here this black petiole bears leaflet and the leaf is compound in nature. This blackish petiole is traditionally used as a earpin. Students, leaves may be small and thin or scaly, that is known as microsporophyll as I explained to you earlier, and the example is ecosystem, while they may be simple and sessile as in the Selaginella, or they are large and pinnately compound known as megasporophyll as I explained to you, and the example are Adiantum and Triopteris. So you can see here images of Selaginella leaf, Adiantum or Diopteris leaf. In ferns, leaves show circinate venation, and circinate venation, young leaves are coiled inward. And you can see here very common example of Pteridium aquilinium, that is locally called as lingdu, while second image is of Diplasium esculentum, that is called as lingard, and you all know about it. Students, all the vegetative parts possesses vascular tissues organized in different groups And steel vascular tissue is present in stem and root. It consists of xylem and phloem. Xylem consists of tracheids only and phloem has only seed tubes. Students, you can simply define steel as all the tissues inside the endodermis. And steel is variously modified in the pteridophytes. It is protosteel in the Rhynia and Lycopodium. And you can see here simple protostele of Rhynia where xylem is surrounded by phloem. You may find ectostele, that is star-shaped protostele in Xylotum and plate-like protostele in Lycopodium. Stele is siphonostele in Equisetum. Students, siphonostele is a protostele with central pith and considered to be the most advanced stele. You can see here siphonostele of the Equisetum with the central hollow pith. Students, stele is dictyostele in Adiantum or polycyclic in Angiopteris. Cambium is absent, hence they do not show secondary growth. Students, dictyostele is the stele in which the vascular cylinder is broken up into a longitudinal series or network of vascular strands due to entrance of leaf gaps, as you can see in this image. Here it is petiole with the veins that enter into the stele of the stem. So, in dictyostele, the stele or the strands are broken around the central pith. Next is polycyclic stele. Students, as the name suggests, polycyclic means there are more than one ring of stele in the stem. Polycyclic stele is the most complex one among all the pteridophytes. Such type of steles are siphonostelic in structure, and each such stele possesses an internal vascular system connected with an outer siphonostele. Such connections are always found at node. A typical polycyclic stele possesses two or more concentric rings of the vascular tissues, as you can see in this image. Here it is polycyclic dictyostele, and this type of stele arises at the nodes or at the junctions. So student, in this image you can see diversity of the stele which start from the simplest protostele to the highly complex polycyclic dictyostele. And you can see in protostele simply xylem strands are surrounded by the phloem, while in the siphonostele central hollow pith is present. In dictyostele, vascular stele is broken down into network of the ring, and in polycyclic dictyostele more than one ring of steles are there. So students, that's all about the general characters of the pteridophytes part 1, where I explained to you vegetative structure in pteridophytes. In next video, I will explain to you reproductive structure in the pteridophytes. I hope you understood this topic. Thank you for listening.